Hey, everybody, Jim Cummings here, and if Tigger were here, he'd say, thanks, everybody, for bouncing on in here and enjoying the show. But before we go, I want you to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Now, speaking of enjoying the show, enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. Today, we have a very special guest for you, none other than Sean Astin. How are you doing today, sir?
It's me. I'm here. I finally made it, and I found parking.
Yeah, the parking was, we're
it was easy once I knew where it was.
We're in a new studio, so there was a couple kinks to work out, but
yes,
you guys will like it going forward.
We're going to have such a good conversation.
You wait and see.
Since we're already talking about Rudy, I wanted to ask you.
Are we rolling, by the way?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to ask you.
This is gold.
So
it's beautiful.
Joe Montana was talking about Rudy, and he said that Rudy was like not taken seriously like by anybody on the team, and like that historic moment of like when they hoist him up, you know, it was actually like a bunch of jokesters on the team. And they were like kind of, you know, giving him the gas. It wasn't like a genuine. Have you ever heard this before?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I think it was. Well, if you look at the actual footage exists. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know, it's Super 8 footage taken by one of the dads.
Wasn't it at the end of the movie?
Is it the end? Yeah.
Yeah. In the credits.
But in the movie, in the dream version of it, the ideal movie version with the swell of, you know, the score and everything, Jerry Goldsmith's incredible score, the whole team picks him up. On the day, it was like 2 or 3 people.
Right.
Or maybe 4 or 5, whatever. But the point is, it wasn't the whole team picking up. But I always got the sense that it's fun because, like, why are you picking him off the field? But it also was like they did appreciate it. Yeah, they appreciated him. So, we invested it with a kind of, mythological.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to, you know. You're
That's what it's
telling
about,
a story. Yeah. You're not going to, you know.
But Joe Montana was, when the movie came out, first of all, the movie was not like a successful movie. It made like $15 million. It developed an audience over the life of cable and like that.
Okay.
But he was really cool. Joe Montana was really cool. This is Super Bowl win. How many Super Bowls do you got to win? And he was like, oh yeah, I remember Rudy. He was really cool. We liked him. Oh, that's really great. And then over time, I think he had to put up with a lot of people who were irritated with Rudy, my friend, who I was just texting with last night about how we were up with how's your kids doing? Oh, this one's there. His daughter's moving out here. And so we were friends. But he was on his mission to tell his story about perseverance and grit and all this stuff. But the thing that was charming about it, that really appealed to the writer, Angelo Pizzo, was that it was about the last guy on the bench. So, but something happened where the movie becomes, I remember, what was the football coach's name from Washington? Newhousel. Rick Newhouse.
Yeah.
He came to coach at UCLA, and I went to this thing, the ESPYs, which is ESPN Awards. And it's the only time I ever played golf, like we won something. We won. I think we came in second place. I left with a trophy with a thing with a golf ball on, and I was like, honey, I won this. And she goes, for golf? Like, you don't know how to play golf? So,
who was that, your wife?
It was my wife, Christine.
Yes.
You know Christine.
Yes, I do. I remember her.
They all say to send you their love, by the way.
Oh, bless her heart. Thank you.
They were very upset that I was leaving in the house too late today. Don't make Jim wait.
Oh, Jesus. No, we're golden.
But basically, it became a thing where the movie started to really, Notre Dame would give, like Rick, when he was in Washington and they were recruiting him, they can't give you a car. They can bring you a gift basket, and in the gift basket, Rick says to me that day in wherever Orange County, he goes, just so you know, Notre Dame gave me a little gift basket that had 9 copies of Rudy in it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He goes, no, you should know that. Yeah, and I was like, oh, he's like telling me, well, wait, there's a financial, there's a reputational component to this, and I was like, I don't okay. Well, that's great. They love the movie. There was a point at which the movie started to become really important in the lore, and at that moment, I think Rudy maybe wasn't as gracious as he should have been, and when talking about it, because he's still a guy who was fighting to be acknowledged at this point for somebody who figured out how to get a movie made. a movie that had no right. Who makes a movie about the last guy on the bench?
Yeah.
So, but it was his sheer perseverance and will and creativity. Rudy's who got that movie made, who got the writer and director from Hoosiers. David and
Really?
Angela.
So he really was
Interesting.
He did it by, but at this particular moment, some of the Notre Dame folks were players, alumni were irritated with him. That like it wasn't he wasn't being respectful enough of like how many championships do you have to win before like you're the guy who you know what I mean, and so I think it's sort of, and Rich Eisen, the Eisen show, he was he's like Rudy was offsides. Rich didn't call it, so I don't know. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Does that account for that?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Rudy has now. I think it's reached a place where it's respected within the university, but they have their program and they're off doing their next things that are championships and so forth. But your question had to do with Joe Montana, who I think is a prince and really was,
he's a great guy.
Yeah,
I went to school with
lovely.
his kids.
Yeah. My kids did too. How old are you?
I'm 34.
And you went to school with Joe Montana's kids?
Nick. He was my quarterback in high school. Nick Montana.
Wow. Because my
He's like 2 years younger than me.
Oaks Christian, right?
Yeah, Oaks
Christian.
Christian. Yeah. My daughter's 28, and she went there, and I thought she was there. Does he just have one kid?
I think.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think
Anyhow,
he might have
I always tell them that maybe what I mean is my kids went to the same school.
Same school.
Yeah.
That's right.
What happened to football movies? There was like Remember the Titans. There was Rudy. Any Given Sunday.
That's true.
There
Brian
was there was the one with Sandra Bullock where she adopted the big black kid.
Right.
She won an Oscar for that.
Yeah, she won an Oscar for it.
The left tackle,
The Blind Side. The Blind Side.
Yeah.
And it just feels like they don't make football movies anymore. It's like I felt like they were so popular and.
Yeah, I mean it'll come back.
I hope so.
I mean, I said Brian song because I get these messages from people, all the time saying the Brian song and Rocky are there too, and Rudy. They go,
Right.
with the head trauma that goes on with football. I think football's like kind of needing a little bit of a relook.
For sure.
It's.
Well, they're working on the helmets like mad to make them, like mattresses.
This is off topic, but kind of on topic. But I thought it was hilarious. Have you seen those new helmet covers that they made for the NFL? And it's like a padded cover that goes over top of the helmet, and it's like proven to like drastically reduce concussions.
Wow.
And I'm laughing because you see a couple players on teams wear them, right? And I think they're brand new this last season. And so the NFL, they come out and they say, we have these brand new helmets, they reduce concussions even more, but it's optional to wear. It's optional. And it's like, you guys are sitting there saying you're all about player safety, but the helmet looks goofy. So then it's like, no.
But it's like the baseball thing, like it takes a while for the culture to, but I mean, but college and high school,
you should have to wear it.
It's a dangerous sport. They could change the rules about how you tackle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
And they have big time.
They have, and the penalties and everything else. But still, what does stories will come up, stories will happen.
Yeah.
They'll I don't know if what you're talking about. I mean, Rudy certainly didn't help. It wasn't a big financial success. So, I don't know. It's an interesting question. Football movies, the future. It's hard to see their faces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's why they get so much less recognized than like basketball.
They're wearing shorts and t-shirts, basically. And you can see every little bit of sweat.
Right. Yeah.
But how can you tell that? From the stands. One of the cool things we always talk about with Rudy was they hired NFL Films to shoot the football sequences.
That's cool.
So they used long lenses. They didn't come onto the field. And that is really why they look like authentic football sequences. Because that's how we're used to watching football games.
Yeah, that's right.
So as soon as you get that close-up camera of the nose tackle or whatever, and you're right in his face, it's actually, are you like a surrogate for the defensive, So I don't know. Yeah, it's. 1970s. We were making a period movie in 1991.
Right.
Or 1992. Now the 70s is like.
Ancient.
Is that World War II? Like what?
Yeah. That's so true, isn't it? Yeah, and the helmet. God, they're so different. They're from space, like you were saying.
They are, but the neck is the issue. It's traumatic brain injuries, but also like our necks, even these big football players who have big, thick necks, you know, they look like, you know, the spine is the fragile little piece of equipment.
Sure.
And you just, you know, I remember when my daughter was going to do gymnastics, and she had a really long neck. And I'm like, you shouldn't do gymnastics. Why? My wife's like, why would you discourage her from something? I'm like, I'm not going to discourage her. I'm just looking at the physics.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
So she can, of course, you don't listen to Dad. She goes and does it. And she comes home one day and she's like, we got to call the chiropractor because she landed on her neck. I'm like, let's call the chiropractor. She was fine. But it's like at a certain point, just common sense, you know. Like,
yeah. What are you doing again? Yeah. Oh. Ouch, painful.
We finally are doing this.
I know. I'm really glad to have you, pal.
Yeah. We tried to do it in England. We tried to do it in when you had your traveling road show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Are you traveling these days? Doing much?
Oh my gosh, so much.
That's it, huh?
So much. I just decided I did my Broadway debut last year. I played a two-part Santa Claus. It was and the bad guy, Mr. Greenway. And it was the Broadway musical revival of Elf. And we got nominated for some sort of audience choice award or something. I don't know, whatever. But it was amazing because my parents had done Broadway.
And you were Santa?
I was Santa.
Wow. Yeah. How cool is that?
It was so much fun.
Did you do your Ed McMahon? That's like, I always end up sounding like Ed McMahon whenever I do Santa.
Well, I want to hear Ed McMahon now. God, that was funny. Those Johnny Carson shows where he was the Tonight Show, where he was always looking at. Ed was drunk. Ed was always drunk.
Yeah.
You'd always look at him like, "You all right?"
Pull my finger, Ed.
Oh my gosh!
You are correct, sir.
No, I got to sing. Used to be, I could depend on the children. They'd believe, and I'd be skyward bound. Something like that.
Wow.
So, and I got to do all of the Broadway kind of rituals, the things that as legend, you know, it comes down to about what do the actors do? What is a company? Where do they rehearse? We rehearsed at 890 Broadway, which is this, like, where I guess the guy's name was Michael. I can't remember his last name at the moment, but he put together Chorus Line in that building. So all the wood, the hallways are all wood, and you just it's like Flashdance. You know, Flashdance, sacred,
sure.
but like it paved with the blood of dancers. You know what I mean? Like this is a no joke, serious place with serious people, and I got to kind of go in and do that.
Yeah,
but when we finished
how cool is that?
it was
Was it nerve-wracking for you at all?
I was terrified the entire time.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrified. Until like the last 2 weeks. I can learn 7 or 8 pages of dialogue like that. You know,
wow.
if I
Why not me?
well, it depends on the dialogue.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
fair.
Like there was some law show, and you do a scene and it's you and another person, and the logic of what you're saying makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
But some of this dialogue in the musical, you know, it was 2 months and I was still looking at the pages. And
Yeah.
the mind is a powerful or not instrument.
Not.
Yeah.
Yeah. A powerful detriment.
It's a powerful detriment. It's a big liability. It's but my wife was like, I married you for your mind. I'm like, what are you saying?
You're like, no shit.
No, they're like, oh, come on. I played Rudy. No. But I decided at the beginning of this year that I was going to load up on like convention appearances. I do speeches about mental health, kind of my mom's legacy there. This is the 40th anniversary of the Goonies, so they're having a bunch of screenings, like, so they'll fly me out there and pay
I remember
me.
one time a couple of years ago you were hosting one.
Yeah.
Hosting what would you call it? A watching? Not a signing, but you were...
we were in... I remember where we were. Do you remember where we were?
Yes, at a convention.
Was it Buffalo? I think it was Buffalo. No,
Yeah.
I remember this because when we went, your daughter was going to watch it. And we went and sat next to her.
Right.
And it was like in a proper theater, not a movie theater.
Yeah, an actual...
Yeah, where they like set the projector up.
Yeah.
And the people loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
was
my
I
God,
hosting that? Did I do an introduction or something?
I think so.
This one is like a
you
Q&A.
were very well dressed and you had your vest and your...
That was my Bruce Campbell face.
Oh, okay.
That was well, if you used to go, I haven't seen Bruce Campbell I haven't seen him in a convention in 15 years. But he used to be
true, huh?
That was his thing. He was like the mayor of the conventions, and he always wore a zoot suit. I don't know if it was technically a zoot suit, but like
Looked pretty
shoes.
zooty.
Yeah, the shoes were. He looked like you in that movie.
He looked snappy.
Snappy. He looked snappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like he put effort into it, and it was, and a lot of us are just didn't shave, wearing whatever, and you just kind of show up and you're there, and I think the crowd likes whatever you bring. If they see you put effort in it, they're like, oh, that's like, because they're dressing up, they're wearing, all their clothes and stuff. So, but for a short period of time, I think it was when I got heavier, I started wearing a vest and a suit jacket. Sometimes I guess I even wore a tie.
You're very dapper.
I was dapper. That was a short-lived period of time. You caught me at my best, Jim.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it, folks.
But my point is just that this year I decided that I wanted to, the politics, the culture, the world is in a kooky place. And so I decided I'm going to just do these public appearances, paid public appearances. And so I've been doing it, and it's a lot. Between that and the union, my wife is like, and you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've been union bound for a good while now.
Yeah. About 6 years.
You've been
about 6 years of.
You've been on the job, man. Good for you.
Yeah, you're on the board of SAG?
There's the national board, which I'm on, and then there's the local board. I'm on that as well, and I'm on about 27 committees. So this is what I've learned.
How do you have time in the day?
Well,
Wow.
out of work actors can do whatever we want. I got my master's.
No way.
I went and got a master's. I got a master's in public administration and public policy.
Wow.
Yeah, from American University. I just picked up it was the only show that I missed of my Broadway run was to go down to DC, and they let me do the commencement address, and they gave me a honorary PhD, and
that's really cool.
It was pretty great.
Wow.
It was pretty great. But,
Sean Astin, ladies and
so thank you. Well, this is a story about how great I am.
That's good stuff. That's pretty good.
But I think my mind is, nobody's ever like diagnosed me as being like on a spectrum, but like I used to run marathons.
Would you like me to? I can do it now.
Tell me, doctor.
Non me ne partirei finito santo.
Hey, the second American Pope.
Yeah. That's true, huh?
It's true. Well, maybe you were the first and this one's the second one.
Yeah, that could be.
No, I think when I do something, in order for me to feel like I can do it, I have to be like all in, but like all in at a level where you're like, you okay? like, yeah, but I ran marathons and I had to do that. And you think that is about the physical, usually marathon, I did a triathlon, like those, there's the physical like need that you have, but mine was mental. Mine was like, it was about a level of heightened concentration over time. That's like my jam. But then at a certain point it resolves, and then you're like, okay, what's the next thing that I get to do? But the union's been 6 years, and I've learned the ins and outs. I've been on 5 negotiating committees, including the one where we had the big strike.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, we're on strike. I'm not on the negotiating committee, but the video games contract is on strike right now, and there's hopefully, who knows what the story is there, but we have a big meeting tonight on that. So my sense of purpose and mission in life is aligned. My mom was president of the union.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
With certain things, we all like to help other people. And the best it is when your passion for something aligns with how you're helping, you get a kind of
it's
supercharged.
That's right.
Yeah, impact, kind of an outsized result, quality of result. And so that's been so rewarding and maddening and interesting. And so anything you want to know about the union, I'm your
definitely
guy. Just don't ask me the residuals. We just what am I supposed to say? I'm trying to think.
Let's see. Wait, there's got to be a pat answer here somewhere.
No, it's about disclosing whether or not I'm on a given committee, and I think I'm allowed to, but I won't just because I'm not 100% sure. But I was on the animation committee. So didn't you zoom in with us at one point? Did you?
It rings a bell.
So something.
A while ago.
We came to you for some question, I think.
Maybe
not zoom in, but.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see in our circuit, you see our people, our voiceover people.
Yeah.
All different. People step in and help. Step in and help, and then step out and do your own thing. That's what a volunteer-led union is supposed to be, really. So.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. But that was a great deal. We got a great animation deal. Have you seen the result? I mean, people are pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
Other ones, not so much. It depends on your point of view.
Yeah. You know, the one thing that I remember being passionate about was back in the day, whenever the day was video games.
Yeah.
And and everybody seemed to think, first they thought cable was not a big deal. And I remember thinking, yeah, because here's the thing. Nothing comes out, nothing is innovative, and it's like, and my best example, historic example, is horseless carriages. Really? Horseless? Please. Well, see.
Somebody knows to invest in bumpers, though, and that guy's a trillionaire.
Yeah. And you know, and it just doesn't, because nothing comes out and then fades away. And no advancement, easier, better, higher quality. Nah, doesn't happen.
The funny thing is that performers are so generous, and we're also a little bit. We're not necessarily as far ahead in terms of business acumen as we should be. Yeah. So you know, we agree when cable comes in that we'll take a little less while they're like, well, it's a new, but the people who design this equipment and who pay for it, they have a long lead time. They know what the success of the, you know, I mean, I wish I could be in the rooms now as they're talking about AI with how we're going to be consuming information. Mostly it'll be just like touching something in your brain, like, oh, $25, oh, $25. But when you're when you're in the union, what you want to try and do is anticipate to the best of your ability and protect. You know, you want to protect people from, because when you see something, people don't really. When you see a cartoon, you tell me this about you. It's you, right? When you see Winnie the Pooh, you're seeing yourself, right?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, it's to an extent. Yeah,
If I do a character, and I've maybe done, I don't know, 20, probably done 20,000 of them, but anytime I see a picture of that character, I'm like, oh, that's me.
And once it was.
It was you. Oh, no, it was me.
It was you.
It was, yes.
You remember that, don't you?
Twice. It's happened to me twice. One with Looney Tunes. You
gotta love that, yes.
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
If I'm not mistaken, the characters in there referred to my character as Sean Astin, the actor.
Yes,
not Sean.
Actor Sean Astin. Yes.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Sean Astin.
Yeah, and I have one of those, and it was at the end of, because back during when we were recording Tasmania, I was Taz. And they drew me into the run once when Taz comes out of the jungle, and all the antelopes and the deer and the elephant are running, and I'm the last one. Boop, 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 running out, and I had all this long dark hair. It was a while ago.
Did they tell you?
It was a while ago. No, they said no. You really have to watch this one, and I watch all of them. Well, okay, but watch this one to the ending. And there I was, and I went, oh, shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it just kicked my butt.
Did my dad do an episode or two?
Oh, yeah, many, yeah.
Wait, so explain the relationship between you guys, because you guys go way back, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I
think my dad.
Yeah, I was going to say, your dad, I mean, what an icon. Jesus.
John Astin, who was Gomez in the original Addams Family.
The original Addams Family, yeah.
He did the Three Penny Opera on Broadway with Ed Asner. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. But he at a certain point in his life, all of a sudden I'd go to his house and you'd see different things, animation things that he was doing. And one of them was Taz.
One of them was Taz. Yeah, it was great. You know, he was he and Rob Paulson. They were Bull and Axel, and they were out there. And your dad is, well, we're about to be pummeled in many interesting and painful ways, Axel. You know, and he's got this great delivery, you know, and sort of ruminating, looking at the sky. Taz is about to kill us. This is going to hurt. Oh, boy.
Well, here we go. Going, ah!
Yeah. It's going to hurt, huh, Bo? Ooh, it'll hurt, Axel. It'll hurt. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Funny stuff. And then I was Lurch.
You were Lurch.
Which was, typecast.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, the really tall guy.
What, was it with that deep voice?
Mr. Adams.
Oh, talent right there.
Oh, yeah. No, wow. Anyway.
Mine like that was they cast me as I was doing a movie. This was at the high point of my what I thought was my juice in the industry. I was over in England starring in a movie, and I got a package waiting for me, and I opened the package up, and there was all this not cell art, but it was images of the title character of their new kids show called Oso, Special Agent Oso, and they had offered me the part. Well, I auditioned for a lot of parts and I don't get them. So this was a pretty good just to be offered it outright.
Wow.
So there was a deal. They negotiated the deal. It was fine. I was so excited. I get to be, because I had auditioned for maybe 1,000 things and never gotten them. The only thing that I had gotten, I think to that point was
yeah, I feel terrible for him, don't you? This is
no, but this is an anime. Stu Rosen.
Oh.
It was a Stu Rosen directed thing where, I had my experience too, right? And,
you too, huh?
Yeah, it was called, I played Dylan, son of Sinan in, damn it, I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but.
Damn it, I think that was
Damn it, I played Damn It.
Damn it,
food is on the table. No, my wife was working at a commercial agency, and she had sent me this thing, and I got the audition, and I got the part, and it was a big, I can't remember. Anyhow, so now here I am, and I go to the studio on a weekend. Oh, we're going to do it on a weekend because you're shooting all week. And I was living in Windsor, and I just felt like so important. I was so important this was a good 15 minutes of real importance. And I get to the London recording studio, and it's just a little closet, and I'm patched in, and it's like all the Disney mucky mucks and everything else.
Oh boy!
And I would do it, and they're like, that's great. Can you pitch it up a little bit? And I was like, okay. So I pitched it up a little bit. They're like, great. Can you pitch it up a little bit? And I realized that whatever it was that they were hoping to hear, I was straining my absolute best to like try and give them what they wanted. Hello, Special Agent Oso, it's all part of it. And I'm like leaning backwards and sort of like drink water. But it was terrifying because it was like, no, now you're in this group where you actually have to be able to, you have to understand what your instrument is. And I had understood it better because of Lord of the Rings. We had dialect coaches. And for 6 weeks before we did Lord of the Rings,
dialogue coaches.
We were in dialect coaches. But
that's dialect. That's
yeah.
right.
But when we were down there, we would for an hour and a half a day, 5 days a week for 6 weeks. We'd go into this little building that was kind of like a hut, and they had pictures up on the wall of like a cross section of the human body. So you could really see the teeth and the tongues. They had the diaphragm, the throat, the vocal cords. You could, and they would point like, this is what's happening. This is your soft palate. This is where we want you to do this. And then they would work us through a whole different series of, we'd have homework and the homework. So, and what I realized was when I would do voiceover stuff, the people on the other side of the glass would have a comment, an adjustment to make. And I would think I was doing it, but to them, it was the exact same. So it was like I was making the decision in my mind, or making an adjustment in my mind, and it was finally down there in New Zealand where I was able to hear what they were hearing. And so they
recorded it and played it back for you, I would hope.
They did. I had a hook and they gave me a recording of a farmer in England with his. And it was a whole speech of his, but I just took the first bit, and before every single line of dialogue in Lord of the Rings, I would look off to the side and I would say this little prompt for myself to remind myself. And I don't think I could actually do the accent without their supervision until one of the video games, like 5 years later. I was acting in a video game, and Roisin, who's our Irish woman, who's our dialect coach, she was unavailable. So I was there, and we just did it, and I sort of worked out. But the line of dialogue was, or the line from the farmer was, "Well, that's a nice shiny apple. That's a nice shiny apple. Well, that's a nice shiny apple." So,
wow!
So
that was your touchstone.
That was my touchstone. That was for Turtles. It was come on, stop talking and start fighting. Come on, Leo. That I literally couldn't do any line of dialogue if I didn't say that. About the other actors were so patient with me.
But you sounded just like you. That's,
Well, Rob Paulson, who was the OG voiceover
Sure.
for Raphael for how many years they did the original. And then I came and did the 2012 iteration.
Right.
And he was playing Leonardo.
Yes.
So every time I would do a line for Raphael, I would look over at OG Raphael, and he was, and Rob. I mean, Rob Paulson's such a, you guys are the
giving
legends.
guy. Sure.
Yeah, generous, and he had a role to play in that. Like, he was a leader. He would look at me. He's like, he knew that I was hoping that he approved of it. Not that you need excessive approval, but when people are nice to each other and everybody's working on something and it's working, it's successful, people like it, everybody has their role to do, not just their role, but like everybody has their position relative to what the show is. And Rob had his, and he wore it with real grace. And I really appreciated it.
He was a good boy.
Yeah.
Never liked him.
Yeah, piece of shit.
Oh, that is knucking futs.
So growing up with parents in the entertainment industry, was this always something that you wanted to get into, or was it just like, oh, this is going to be my path? We were just talking to Cam Clark right before this, and he kind of had a similar upbringing, with parents
King
and show
family.
business
Yeah.
and all that
Vaudeville.
jazz.
Vaudeville.
Yeah, vaudeville.
I'm always curious to hear these stories.
So my dad, I was saying my dad did Three Penny Opera on Broadway. My mom did the Miracle Workers. She played Helen Keller on Broadway in the early 60s. She won an Academy Award for her
Yes, she did.
film portrayal. So
Valley of the Dolls.
Valley of the Dolls, which I can't watch. It's too brutal.
Oh.
Because she's a drug addict, strung out. I can't look at it.
I can tell you that I probably told you this before. I had a crush on your mom like crazy. And oh, by the way, Patty.
Yeah.
I like Patty. Kathy was cool.
Yeah.
But she talked funny.
Yeah.
Know, but Patty, I'm talking about the Patty Duke show. And
Meet Patty, who's
And then
been most everywhere, from
Valley
Santa Bar
River
to Barclay Square. And Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights.
But
What a crazy pair.
pair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're cousins, identical cousins. And you'll find they're laughing like they're walking like, at times they even talk alike. You
What
could lose your mind.
Right.
When patty are few of a kind. I never saw that show.
A hot dog makes her lose control. That's one of the things.
Oh, yeah.
Kathy adores the ballet russe, a crepe Suzette, a something minuet, and a hot dog makes her lose control.
Yeah.
That's a funny one that I always heard. Like,
Yeah.
a hot dog makes her lose control. Okay?
Yeah.
But they basically, they made things possible. My mother, it was a time when, the ratio of professional young performers to parts available for them was still relatively low. Now it's 10,000 to 1.
forget
It's
it.
impossible. So, but my mother came to me when I was 7 or 8 years old and said, "Would you like to do an after school special with me?" This was when ABC had those issue of
sure.
the week ones.
Yeah.
Homelessness, teen pregnancy, whatever. They'd solve it in a week. And my mom she was going to play an abusive mother, and I would be her abused child, in the aptly titled "Please Don't Hit Me, Mom." That was, and it was
Please don't hit me,
Please
Mom.
Don't Hit Me, Mom.
Wow.
Was the ABC after school special.
Jeez.
And I said, my questions were, I didn't ask for this. This was an opportunity that's being presented to me. So I know it's like Mozart and Salieri. Like, some people fight, they train, they do everything in their imaginable to get the gig. And I'm like, well, do I want to do it? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But I said, do I get money? And she said, you get $10,000, but you don't actually get it until you're 18.
Right.
And I was like, all right, okay. I was like, do I get out of school?
Yeah.
She said 3 hours a day.
Get a
You have
little
to do
interest?
school. Yeah. So, but I did have to audition for that one. They needed to make sure that I could do it. So that, but even there was that, then there was, I did a.
Was that your first on camera?
That was the first thing, yeah.
First on camera?
Well,
No,
we did when I was in diapers, I told this to Elton John, and he was like, well, how fucking old does that make me? But we did a lifeguard, a Coast Guard boating safety PSA.
Oh.
And all 5 brothers, my dad's sons from his first marriage, and my brother, my mom's, whatever, the 5 of us. And So, but the first like paid gig, which I think they Taft-Hartley'd me. So I think I was actually, I'm not sure if I joined the union then.
Oh,
no, I joined in 81. That's what my card says. So I guess that would have been, I didn't work like kid actors work. Some young performers they're doing it. They're working just as hard as I did. I did 2 weeks on this after school special. And then when I was 10, I did 3 months on a mini series with Elliot Gould and Elizabeth Montgomery called The Rules of Marriage. And they were getting divorced and I played their divorced son. Milton Katsalis directed that one. I can remember some things. Some things come back. Prince Valiant. Prince Valiant was the
that was the missing link.
No, that was the first voiceover thing that I did. That I couldn't remember the name of it, where I played Dylan, son of Sidon. That was directed by what's his name?
Good old what's his name?
So yeah, so I did that. I auditioned for it. My mom, I think, knew the director. It was a very powerful audition, the one for Rules of Marriage, the L.A. Gold one. But that was it. So 3 months and 2 weeks out of 12 years before I got the Goonies. But I think at that time, my parents' agent knew that I would be marketable. He could tell. He could tell that because I was naturally charismatic, and and so, and I had the one thing that my mother really, not the one thing, but one thing that my mother really did for me was she really wanted to develop my communication skills as an infant. So I was terrible at anything.
Good
math,
for her.
Anything. Well, it's what she knew.
Prescient.
It's
prescient.
Prescient, yes. Prescient, yeah.
Yes.
She knew. She knew language, and so I could speak in full sentences I can't speak now. I can't put a sentence together now. But as a young child, and I think my parents' agent could sort of see that, and so they kept asking,
Cha-ching.
"Do you?" Yeah. Richard Lewis was my mom's agent at the time. Richard Lewis, he smoked these large. He was like, what's his name? He was like, what's his name in Jiminy Glick. He was Jiminy Glick is a journalist that Martin Short plays.
Right.
But Richard Lewis was my mom's agent. You want to think you'd be gorgeous, so you'd be fantastic. I think you'd be fantastic if you did that. But if I sent you something, what if I sent you something? This kind of thing. So, and okay, sure, whatever. So they sent the audition for the Goonies, and my parents had gotten separated. Or divorced at this point. I can't remember when the actual dividing line was, but my dad had a condo where I would see the Taz pictures up. He got it close enough so that I could ride my bike from UCLA, which is where our house was growing up, to his place in West LA. And he worked with me on this Goonies audition. And there's so much that I can't remember, but I remember he took it really seriously. He took this particular audition really seriously. He directed Night Gallery.
Oh, I remember.
Spielberg had directed Night Gallery.
Right. So that was big stuff.
Yeah, but it was also small community. And I think he saw that thing for me. I think he was just intrigued.
It's a hell of a grand entrance.
Yeah, it was a nice opening act there, sure.
No kidding.
But he taught me acting in that audition. He taught me basically what he said is stop acting. He said, stop being what you think the idea of it. He goes, Sean, this is you. This is a kid. You're a kid. This kid is riding his bike. You rode your bike over here. Just talk. Just say it normal. Basically. Wow. And then he drove me over to the audition.
That's great advice.
Yeah. And that's how and when I did Rudy, my whole thing was don't fake it. Yeah. No matter you're the title character of this movie, it's a studio movie. Like, who knows how many chances you'll get like this. Just don't fake it. And when we did the big scene where Rudy gets into Notre Dame, finally, his final year of eligibility, there's this scene where he opens the acceptance letter, and he starts crying. Right. And we did a few takes of it, and I was like, I was sort of stoic. And the director was sort of losing it. He's like, what, and at a certain point he goes, what are you afraid of? And I started bawling. And he's like, wait a minute. Like, hold on.
Let her get a camera. Hold on.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But I always thought as a kid, what if I would want to do something else? Maybe I would be a teacher. Maybe I'd go into politics. I just realized recently, like in the last week, that I could have had a different career. Logistician. I like logistics. When we would do conventions in the early 2000s, regional Comic-Cons, like, they
What the heck? Logistics,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah. So, I just realized, like, I would get there and there'd be, 1,000 people, or say 200 people. 200 people is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
If you have a wedding with 200 people, that's a big wedding.
That's a
and
big
you'd go
ass
into these
wedding.
halls and you'd have 200 people, and they wouldn't have any real organization. They'd have tables set up, where you come up and sign or something, but they didn't have it organized. So when I would get there early, I would get tape out, and I would get on the ground and I would make tape lanes.
Oh, you did God.
And
you invented those?
I invented them. Let's just put it here.
How about that?
It's at some of these regional ones where the thing that the people were good at, they realized that if they realized that there's a deal to be made, they realized something that the union couldn't get the studios to agree to, which is they're developing a relationship between the people on the screen or their voices and the people who are enjoying them. That they, those, you should be able to go, anybody who worked on the crew should be able to go to a convention and earn money, because it's like, hey, the dollar, that moment of Harrison Ford when he sees the whip or when he sees the gold thing, that's the sensitivity of a dolly grip pushing that.
Yeah.
But that's not who the audience sees. So we, the performers, we can go out there and we can actually have like a democratized paid public appearance where somebody pays for your autograph, or they pay for you to do that, wish me happy birthday or something like that. And it's amazing. So a lot of the businessmen or entrepreneurs in the early 2000s were realizing, this was before Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory basically industrialized it. He made it, they made it an accepted American entertainment. I mean, these things are all over the country. Everybody watching this knows where there's Comic-Cons.
Right.
They're all over the country. You can, so, but when I started doing, there was no photo ops. Okay. So every person that you would meet, you'd want to stand up and take a picture with, even before these things really were a thing. You would, somebody would have their own, not the, but but so I would design like these lines anyhow. But my point, back to the beginning of your question, is just that I tried to keep my options optional until I was about 18. When I was 18, I did Memphis Belle. And Memphis Belle was working with really great performers, not just John Lithgow and David Strathern, but Matthew Modine and D.B. Sweeney and Harry Connick Jr. and Tate Donovan and Reed Diamond and Eric Stoltz and Billy Zane. And these cats were trained. Maybe not Harry, he was a jazz musician. He kept saying, man, I don't know what we're doing. I'm a jazz musician. I don't know. Like, Harry, just keep walking. You'll be fine. But I took a look at what they were doing, and I realized that just natural charisma was not going to be sufficient, that I actually had to make a commitment to doing this as a profession. And if I wanted to do that, and I did, I kept open the academic lane. I did. I went to community college for 2 years, at UCLA for 3 years. I always...
Just in case.
It's not even just in case. It's like the best jobs I ever got offered were happened when I was busy focused on something that I was really interested in. Because I wasn't like, I didn't come to the audition or I wasn't, there wasn't a, desperation reeks. It just reeks.
Yeah,
and when you come in and you're like, hey, this is great. I would love to do this, but I'm also doing this other thing, just in your, that you don't have to tell them that, but I mean,
right.
Yeah. That
makes sense.
I think that's,
Yeah.
I'll tell you though, I did, after UCLA, I graduated from UCLA, and between graduating from UCLA, my wife and I had our first kid, Allie, and there was like 2 or 3 years. No, it was like 2 years before I got Lord of the Rings.
Dang.
And in that 2 years, I actually experienced anxiety related to like, what's my place in all of it? Because I actually had a financial imperative. When you got a young family, you have to work. And I made a lot of money, but there's no guarantee that you're going to ever work again.
Continue.
Yeah. Right. So I definitely, and when I got Lord of the Rings, I remember my abiding feeling, like right after I got the part, was like, I now have a place.
Yeah. Deep breath. Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
And that was a situation where you guys all knew that it was going to be huge, right? Like, I feel like Lord of the Rings as a book, because we asked this question to certain people and it's like, we didn't know. Nobody knew. Nothing was popular.
Yeah.
But I feel like Lord of the Rings may have been different because it was already so well established in culture. Is that true?
We were down there filming at one point. We'd been there for a while. It was 2 years of filming, 6 to 8 weeks. And, 18-hour days. It was the hardest work I've ever done in my life. The most rewarding, hardest work I've ever done in my life. And some messages came around to us that they wanted to do some photo stills, and they wanted to record some stuff for their trailer that they were doing. And they had sent down some sketches and a little animatic or whatever that what they had done. And we looked at it and we were like, no. No, they don't get it. Because we were in New Zealand with Peter Jackson. It was basically like a student film. It was a $300 million student film. It did not, there was no frills. When you were down there, it looked like it was an abandoned paint factory we were filming in. We were constantly, the footprint that we had, we were like a pretty big circus moving around, but it didn't look or feel, there was no art, there was nobody, even the biggest stars were not, the thing that was cool was like the miniatures. Let's go to the studio where the miniatures are and look at, and they called them bigatures because they were these ginormous things, and you get the bigatures, and and we knew like the swords they had forged the swords. They had created their own forgery to make the sword, to hew this with
anvils and blacksmith,
all that. Yes.
Whoa. They
had made enough chain mail for 800 costumes by hand.
Chain mail.
Well, it was
that's got to be an easy process.
It was plastic. Well, this guy did it. Did it. And, and they would design things. They would design these characters. They would design stuff. And it was incredible. But you didn't necessarily know that the language, the dialogue, would be as poetic as it was. And you didn't know that the filmmaker would have the sensitivity to do like emotional scenes between characters. So if you're back at the home office in LA at New Line and you're like, okay, well we've got this big whale of a project. In their mind, it's a big like summer thing, or I don't know what they thought of in terms of release times, but what they showed us looked like Dungeons and Dragons. And not Dungeons and Dragons of the last 10, 15 years. Dungeons and Dragons, with the cartoony, very, very broad kind of, not cartoony. It just didn't look like history. The cool thing about Lord of the Rings, if you look at Alan Lee's illustrations, it looks like mythology that could be based in something that really happened. The dragons don't look like fake dragons; they look like real dragons. The orcs and all the different characters.
Yeah.
So we felt
the orcs were astonishing.
The orcs were incredible.
I was blown away. I remember thinking, shit.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, and they designed some after actual people, but they didn't understand that. To us, it was like Shakespeare. We were doing classic mythology, and they were doing something that was more geared for 14-year-olds or something. So we were kind of upset about that. And, there was a whole kind of thing that went around. But ultimately, they brought in some people who with a sensitivity to Tolkien subject matter, and they brought whatever. They finally understood it. They understood what the One Ring was. Did. They understood. But when you say, like, did you know it was going to be a hit? The answer is no. You'd never know. You never know. In fact, 9/11 happened 2 months beforehand. I don't know what movies came out on September 15th, but I guarantee they didn't do very well.
Yeah.
But this mythological story,
the first Lord of the Rings was 2001.
Yeah, it was December 19th, and the thing was, in a weird way, the global political moment that happened created this need for a mythology that dealt with the nature of good and evil. So actually, circumstance and the product met at a point where it was kismet.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not kids. I don't want to,
Yeah.
But it was
understood.
It almost filled a need that had been created by this situation. So, and if it wouldn't have made $1 billion, they wouldn't have put the same amount into the second one. They wouldn't have put the same amount in the third one. So, but we knew what we were doing was important. Because everyone was doing the best work of their lives. Ever. The costume designer, what they did with the costumes was, and not just the look of them, the industrial scope of producing them.
Yeah.
I had my stunt double. We had the scale doubles who they would put our exact clothes on, but with much smaller size. They had the models, the miniatures. They had, it was really important quality work that we all believed in with our whole hearts, but you did not necessarily know if it would.
Well,
how
could you?
That's really cool to think about. And like that they probably, it gets thrown around so freely, but like they probably really won't make another movie like that with like, how easy it is to composite background and stuff like that. I remember, as a kid seeing like the behind the scenes on the featurettes and stuff. It was just like so, like what you were saying that you guys were all enamored by, the props and the artistry and, seeing like hundreds of people, as background, like how to coordinate all that. And it's the only fantasy movie that's ever won Best Picture, right? The only fantasy movie ever.
Yeah. Spielberg said on the stage afterwards, he handed Peter the trophy. And he said, you guys finally did it. I can't remember what won the year that E.T. was nominated. But I'm sure it deserved it. But that's the kind of movie where he created, this. They made a
universe.
Puppet real,
right?
I believe E.T. You believe it.
Sure.
His eyes, you believe his eyes. But there have been. Harry Potter came out right away. They were into there. Lord of the Rings was at the leading edge of the technology.
Yeah, you guys were first, weren't you?
Yeah, just. I think we were a frontier project, and I think all of the Marvel universe, all of those other movies that came afterwards, Game of Thrones, I think they owe a respectful nod towards what Peter Jackson and New Line did, but it was coming. It was coming. The technology was coming. And so now, you've got to wonder what's the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's the dreaded AI.
Well, that's the next thing.
Isn't that the next thing?
Yeah.
Or is it the dreaded? I can't tell.
Well, I'm of two minds.
Yeah.
One, as a union member, we have worked extremely hard to get provisions put in all of our contracts that recognize that where you have to give consent to have artificial intelligence made of your, a replica made of you, where if they're going to use it, they got to negotiate with you and compensate you for it and get your approvals. I mean, those things were hard fought. We've struck for 118 days over that.
Right,
the whole town shut down with that thing. And then we've gone in each contract, we've made some other little improvement with each contract. With animation. With animation, the biggest thing for us was to get the word human put in the contract. We wanted them acknowledge in writing that the entities who they were hiring for these things were human beings.
Wow.
And the pushback was really interesting on it because it's obvious, but you have to. The legal mind and the corporate mind are really it's fascinating how they work. But the other side of it is
justify a lot.
The other side of it is really fun. It's fun and it's unbelievable. Anything that has come up, in the last some period of time, we're like, oh, well, let me call the business manager. Let me call the lawyer. Let me call the so-and-so. You're like, consult with ChatGPT first and see what ChatGPT. Now, it can be wrong, so you better not go to the bank. You better not do, your stock investing based on what AI tells you to do. But it's able to respond to your prompts with a level of detail. You can put a screenshot. You can take a screenshot of something and put it in there and say, "Can you please explain to me in layman's words what this means?" And it does.
Yeah.
And it does. I'm in an accounting class right now, and there was this thing about ratios, and I wanted to understand the ratios better, and I went to the AI, and it generates images, and it's like, so the real key is going to be how can you protect humanness? How can you protect the authenticity of the human experience? How can enough people have something to do? You know, the fear isn't just like what can it do? It's how many people is it going to displace while it does it? Yeah. You know, so we'll be okay. Human beings will be okay. I think
that's good.
Yeah, because we have no choice. Yeah, we have to be. We will continue whatever the technology can be. We'll use it. We'll figure out what its limits are, and then we'll frontier something else. But
yeah.
Just back on the subject of Lord of the Rings, I had seen online that you had to gain 35 to 40 pounds. Is that a rumor or is that true?
No, that's a canon now in the Astin household.
So I want to know how that conversation goes. Like, at what point are they like, "Hey, we need you to gain 40 pounds," and then like, what is the process of gaining that weight?
Well, I had been running marathons, so I was skinny, like skinny.
Yeah.
I like looking at those pictures. Oh, look how skinny I was. Yeah. I ran the LA Marathon, and then I did the audition. And they said, well, they really like you for it, but there's another actor who's in England. He's a much more heavy-set actor, and he, you know, the character is described. The one character calls him a stupid fat hobbit. Gollum calls him a stupid fat hobbit.
Yes,
you know?
yes,
so,
that's right.
I said, I will absolutely. My weight has always gone up and down. From the time I played a drug addict in a movie when I was 19, and I went to the doctor. I said, how little can I eat and not have like my organs shut down? Because I'm supposed to play this gaunt drug addict person. He said 400 calories a day. He said, you have to at least eat 400 calories a day or you'll start, your organs will start.
Yeah, your organs will.
So I did that for 2 weeks and was like emaciated and gaunt and looked horrible. This was a horrible thing to have done to myself. The movie is great. It's called Where the Day Takes You. And I think my wife's like, that's the best thing you ever did, Sean. Like because it's a total transformation. And it has a great cast.
Where the Day Takes You.
Where the Day Takes You. You get Dermot Mulroney, Laura Flynn Boyle, Balthazar Getty.
Oh, gosh.
Peter Dobson, James LaGrosse, Stephen Tobolowsky, Christian Slater's in it. David.
Duchovny.
No, not Duchovny. Not Duchovny. David.
Spade.
No, he and Courtney.
Goliath?
He and Courtney got married. It's so stupid.
Kourtney Kardashian.
No. It's so stupid that I can't remember David's last name. Arquette. Jesus. I blame COVID. But
yeah, that's right.
But David Arquette. But anyhow, so but right after that, I had never been over 135 in my life, and I got down to like 122, 123 during the show.
Jeez.
And then
that's a lot.
And then I went up to 170. I had never been over 170. I'd never been over 35. And I looked bloated and like unhealthy. There's a picture. I just looked at it again.
And this is for Samwise.
No. This is what happened to me when I was 19.
Okay.
This was remember I said at 18 I wanted to take my career seriously. Yeah. I took it seriously. I played this drug addict. I fully committed to it and totally screwed up my internal body metabolism. Like, they didn't tell me that was a thing. So I watch, like Matt Damon, or you see these people who do this incredible weight loss, and then they seem to put themselves right back where they were. So De Niro, he right back to where. Yeah. So I knew that I had this problem, basically, the ability to go up and down. And so I took footage from Encino Man. I was a little bit heavier and stuff like that. And I sent to them. And the process was basically, I actually got in the gym and started weightlifting, stopped running, started weightlifting, kind of bulked up over the course of a month, and was eating probably at least 2,000 calories a day and just eating like a, pig.
Yeah.
And then stopped weightlifting and kept eating. And so at a certain point, I remember Fran was our producer, writer, Fran Walsh. At a certain point, I was in their kitchen and she goes, it's too much now. You got, no more.
All done.
No more. You're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
All done.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, that's commitment.
Yeah. I think it's stories like those that, at least for me, really inspired me to be an actor when I was young. It's because I thought that was like the coolest thing, like to just like completely transform. Like you're like completely committed, like a Christian Bale or like any of the people that you mentioned, it's like, whoa, like they really take that art seriously. That's
We were
how it
down there
always
for
came off
2
to me.
years.
Yeah.
You know, it was easier for
Was
me.
that long, huh?
It was easier for me. Some of those people, the Christian Bales, they do like some extended amount of time beforehand, and then they do the shoot, and then it's over. So I would think it's a lot harder to make that level of commitment when you're not actually like doing it.
Yeah.
When you're every day.
Yeah, I would
Activity
think so.
is
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's impressive.
Well, no, I appreciate it. It's different than coming to Burbank. When I say we come to we come to Burbank, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Voice actors know
Yeah, we do.
Burbank
That's where you go.
It's the only, maybe Lord of the Rings, but really it's the time of my life where I felt like I was in a company town.
Mm-hmm.
And any of those shows. There was a period of time where I was doing a bunch of voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
Turtles and Oso. I did one called Benicula that was so great. I don't think anybody
And
really
Jim was in that as well, right?
Were you
yeah,
Benicula?
Yeah, I think so.
Benicula
Yeah.
was so great. Oh my God, it's my favorite, maybe the favorite thing I've ever done ever. And I played Chester. Night of the
Well, that'll be the promo for the show. And what the hell did you just say?
Night of the
Chester,
Chester!
Caged Bird, Nutty Pete, Officer Ham. That's what I have.
Yeah.
Those are all the
Yeah,
characters.
Chester was the cat. It was set in the bayou in Louisiana, kind of manor, kind of whatever you call those things, a chateau. And the little girl, Mina was a nice little girl, and she had a cat, and she had a Benicula, and Benicula was this possessed demonic rabbit. He wasn't demonic, he was great, but like he could take his head off and he could take his eyeballs out, and there are all these ghosts and spirits and hauntings and things that would happen, and Chester was the only one who saw what was going on. He's like, oh, what's happening?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I permanently damaged my vocal cords doing that show.
Well, you sound okay now.
And
Yeah,
Jim,
it's
you were
better.
Jumbo Grunch.
Sure.
You don't remember Jumbo Grunch?
I can't. Oh wait, he was a Cajun?
He was
Yeah.
a Cajun.
Yeah, he was the Cajun. Yeah, I think that he was some guy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sounds right.
one them Cajun guy like that. Whenever I do that, because I used to be a deckhand on a riverboat when I was in Louisiana, and I've stolen a few characters, like Leatherhead, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was my first captain. His Léonce Leblanc. He was from Napoleonville, Louisiana, and that's how he talked like that. Yeah, and he said, "You see that boy? That's good eating right now." And it would be some horrid creature that fell out of a tree.
A bug, a beetle.
Yeah. You see that? That's good right now.
So they really just eat anything down there?
Any damn thing.
Because I remember that
But you
joke
took
from.
it in.
Do you remember that joke from Waterboy? And they're sitting at the house, and Adam Sandler, they're eating together, and then the coach asks, "So, what's for dessert?" And then the squirrel gets zapped in the bug zapper. And he's like, and she's like, "Squirrel."
Squirrel.
Yeah.
So Mark Twain.
That's good eating.
Mark Twain's a nautical term.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is. Mark, but I didn't do that.
You didn't do that.
Well, he was the inspiration. He made me want to do it. I can't tell you how different it is now, or even then in the 70s or 80s, whenever I did that.
I was just in Shreveport a week ago.
Oh, yeah. Go
Coming-
to bed. Y'all from Shreveport? That was one of my lines.
I think that was when I had my
Princess
logistics epiphany, because flying into Shreveport now, it's not, you're right, it's different. It is the most incredible port with container ships and cranes, and like if all of a sudden I was regressed to being a little, yeah,
you hear a lot
and they
of that.
have the Japanese are really good at how they organize stuff. Like when you fly into their thing, you can see how they think. Like from the air, you can see how they think, and it was just like that in Shreveport. But I don't know if there's still like some old guy on a
Yeah,
navigating.
I kind of hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so.
It's got to go out into the country, probably.
Yeah, it's certain things aren't going to stick around forever, and I think that might be one of them.
We have to tell a story on your podcast.
Which one? Which?
So you may have portrayed Winnie the Pooh. The rumor is that
Okay,
you're Winnie the Pooh.
that is true.
So during this one period of time in the late 2000s, early whatever, like 2007, 8, 9, I think it was something like that.
Oh, okay.
they brought me in and they said, "Oh, we are going to do an interstitial about Winnie the Pooh.
Oh.
Do you want to try Winnie the Pooh?"
Oh, okay.
Well, I already knew Jim.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, they were keen to replace me lots of times.
yeah. Well, I did it. I mean, I did the audition for them. And they were like, "That's great. They'll have you do it." And I said, "Well, I got to call Jim Cummings first."
Yeah.
And they were like, "What do you mean?" I was like,
Professional courtesy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to skip the rails for 1 second, when my dad did, when Raul Julia played Gomez Addams in the Addams Family,
Right.
you have to wonder, what do the people from the original think?
Yes.
And my dad was the original Gomez. He basically
was.
created that character from the Charles Adams cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and ooky.
Never missed a show. Never, not even a...
They didn't want anything to do, because of some rights issues or because of whatever, with the original cast. So I think it was heartbreaking for my dad to see America be reintroduced to the Addams Family without a thought.
Right.
And I know Samwise Gamgee, they would ask me in 2002, 3, do you think it'll ever get remade? And I said, of course it'll get remade. Of course it will. And they're like, nobody can ever remake this. And it's like, well, human creativity is such. It's like the AI thing. People are going to figure out how to do. People are people. People are creative. Business is business. They want to figure out.
Yeah, especially that one.
So I and Goonies 2, the sequel, is getting ready to be made.
Really?
Yeah. And they're
You
like,
have to be in it.
well,
This
is my point. This is my point.
I have to be.
I decided with my dad, watching my dad be bummed out, that I would learn from that, and I wouldn't be bummed out when something like that happens. I'll get ahead of the bummed out curve.
Oh, okay.
And I will try and make it so that and with those two characters, I'm sure that if I'm lucky enough to live long enough, maybe if Goonies comes out in 2 years, I don't know if they'll do like a continuation or a proper remake. I don't know what they'll do. But at some point, the idea of Winnie the Pooh is, how many generations? 5 generations of Americans know your voice is Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
I don't know how long a generation is. I might have made you 120.
That could be.
What's a generation?
Joke's on you. I'm 118.
But I definitely had that moment where I was like, oh, wow. What's the, because in my, you talk about starting your career as a generation, second, third generation, whatever. There's also there's an ethos in an acting family. If you walk into a room and there's a mature performer, somebody who's in their 80s or 90s, you go over and say hello and you just demonstrate a little respect.
Yeah.
If some kid is coming up behind you and it's appropriate or whatever, you look out for him. So we just had a moment of that kind of like pilot to pilot professional courtesy thing that meant a lot to me, because I was glad I knew you. You know what I mean? I was glad I knew you. I was glad I could call you. I think wars are started in the world, like actual wars between countries, because people don't have the ability to communicate. And I feel like this industry is hard enough. It's hard. It's hard for anybody to get any job in this business.
Yeah, that's right.
And so for people who, what I knew as a kid of the world of animation acting was that's a close-knit group of people, and they largely hire amongst themselves.
Yeah,
so to have gotten into that world a little bit, trying to figure out how to honor it was pretty cool.
Well, I remember, the great Gordon Hunt. He of Hanna-Barbera fame, directed every Hanna-Barbera cartoon you've ever seen, and father of Helen. I remember, and I was already in the business, thank God. And I read his book, How to Break into Show Business, and it had this, and it had, of course, he came from Broadway. He was a director, stage director, just on and on and on. and he finally landed Hanna-Barbera for many moons, and he's the legendary voice director for the Flintstones, on and on. And he wrote this book, How to Break into Show Business. The 5th chapter is how to a voice. It was on a voiceover, and it said, "Don't bother, don't even think about it. This is done by 5 to 10, 12 people in Hollywood, and you're not one of them." Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, man, I'm glad I didn't read this beforehand. That would have been like, really? Are you sure? Because, but at least I was from Youngstown. Like, that had to help.
Do you remember Charles Grodin's book? He wrote, "It would be so nice." The title was, "It would be so nice if you weren't here."
Yeah.
I think, there's a fine line between not hearing no. Rudy basically it's about a guy who doesn't hear no.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. And then being like a zealot who alienates yourself from other things that you could be doing because there's no's that mean something and then there's no's that are actually like challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I've always seen it. People, it's because, like, for me, this is probably a flaw, a character flaw. I've said this before, but nothing makes me more determined than to somebody say, "Oh, are you kidding me? No, forget. No, you know what? Don't bother. You're not gonna. Go. And I go, oh.
I'm going to show you.
My dad would tell stories about people behaving badly in the industry.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, I had to look up the word guileless. I go into it and I'm like, I can't believe that. I don't want to believe. It's not that I don't believe it. I'm sure that it happens, but this like backstabbing or out competing or trying to hurt somebody else to be able to get
There's less of that in VO. I can say that. That's for sure. But
because it's so clear, everybody can see everything that's happening in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, but and also only
Have you ever had anybody try to undermine?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
If so, they did it well enough that I didn't.
If no, they sure didn't succeed.
Yeah. Yeah,
they suck at their job.
You can see somebody. The truth is powerful, and I think I have the ability to kind of when I look at somebody, I can see you for who you are, and I take what you give. And there's in the convention setting when you're meeting with hundreds of people, it's a really powerful gift because really quickly you can establish an honest bond with somebody. It's only going to be 30 seconds long, but there's a quality of looking at somebody where it's about the truth. And I think if people tried to do that with me, they would have to do it through that. They'd have to figure out a way. I don't know if I'm very good at poker. But I'm not. But I look, if you say so, I had to talk. I'll put it in a general terms, but there's somebody who I know who was being kind of screwed over by a friend, where the friend would say crappy things about them behind their back.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
A true friend.
A true friend. Somebody who had every right and reason to be a true friend.
Oh.
And so trying to understand why that would happen, it was nearly impossible. Like you couldn't figure it out. And so trying to give this person guidance about like, well, you have control over yourself. Mm-hmm. So do the right thing.
That's the one thing.
That's the one thing you have control over. So if someone's going to behave that way, first of all, you have to acknowledge that it's painful. So I think if there was something in show business where I saw somebody kind of like, to me, it's not undermining me. People in show business who do that, it's very clear that they're out for themselves and everybody can see it. Yeah. So like, okay, well, that's who you are. You're going to be
essentially not personal.
Right. Yeah, I guess so.
It's all about me. It's not that I don't like you or that I don't think you're any good. It's just I'm better.
Yeah.
That's a true a-hole.
Yeah. And you can, I guess it doesn't, it's not as hurtful if you understand that, and then you sort of figure out for yourself how are you going to do it? I mean,
it depends on how you take it.
I think it used to be more where you could make appeals to decision makers based on things that were other than the work itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's too hard to do that now. How many jobs now is it obvious where that person got it because they were a friend of a person or because they screwed somebody?
Yeah.
I think now you kind of have to you gotta have the goods.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
some
I
people,
would think.
And some people are so right for certain things.
Yeah.
You know, I auditioned for Chris O'Donnell's part in Scent of a Woman. Chris O'Donnell auditioned for Rudy. There's no question that I'm Rudy.
Yeah.
There's no question that that's the guy from Scent of a Woman. Some people are so the parts come down from the gods for you, you know, and at a certain point, if you're just true to yourself, that will become clear.
What always comes to mind when I hear that, like parts made for like somebody who embodies that part so well is, oh my goodness, I can't remember his name.
Christopher Reeve?
No, but
Superman, yes, that's for sure.
The blonde kid who plays King Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember?
Oh,
he
he's
just
so wicked.
smacked that out of the
true.
park.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
nobody else in the world could have played that
That's
role as
You
true.
good as
just
him.
love
How about
to
that?
hate him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ooh.
He's just like such a vile little person. And
And
that's
in life,
so true.
And in
Jack
life,
Gleason. Jack Gleason. That's his name.
Yeah.
And in life, he's a prince.
Wow.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
No, or he's just like that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Do you want to do a little voice swap game? We have a voice
Try.
swap game in this podcast.
Try.
It's an amazing thing.
Okay.
Yes. So
Sort of.
this is how it'll work.
Yes.
Jim will
let's see.
say a line as one of his characters, and then you'll say the same line but in one of your character voices. And we have a couple ideas written down here.
Okay.
So the
Yes.
first one would be Raphael and Shredder.
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
So you would say a line as Shredder,
A shredder.
and then
okay.
you'll do it the same line but as Raphael.
This one I think I can do.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I think so. Okay, so I have to come with the shredder line. Let's see. Something about, an easy one would be, get those turtles.
Get those turtles.
You sound just like you.
I know. I always do.
And then we wanted to do one from Balto, Cody from Balto, and Steele from Balto.
I can't remember Cody from Balto.
Oh no.
It probably just sounded like me though.
Okay, then not that one. How about Agent Oso and Darkwing Duck?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
How about you start it off this time?
Started off.
Oh, well, I want to feed Darkwing Duck in there pretty good. Special Agent Oso, well, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
You're a special agent too. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Step 1, tie your shoes. Step 2, throw up on your pants. Step 3, call the cleaner. Congratulations, you're a special agent too.
Oh, great. I can remember all of that.
Tie your shoe, throw up on your pants, and call the cleaner.
Step number 1, tie your shoes. Step number 2, throw up on your pants. Step number 3, better clean your pants. I think that was
Yeah, that's it.
approximation of what
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah.
Don't try this at home. Go ahead, try it
pretty
at
good.
home.
And just because of that story, is there any way we can hear your version of Pooh?
Oh, that's so true.
Well, I'm not like I didn't really. No.
How about please pass the honey?
Christopher Robin, would you pass the honey? I'm looking for some honey. Like that. That's about the.
That sounded just like you. That was really good.
And the 100-acre wood.
No bother.
No bother. I can mimic it maybe a little bit. I'm doing it.
I don't. Please pass the honey.
Please pass the honey.
Ooh, that's too good. Can we cut this? We
I
don't
wanted
have
to do Mickey Mouse,
We don't
actually.
want to. Oh, let's hear.
Oh, Mickey Mouse. Oh, Your Honor. Wait, do you know that joke? No.
Wait.
No, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. Oh, Mickey Mouse. Mickey. I can't. My voice. See?
That's not bad.
Minnie. Mickey Mouse. I don't know. That's it.
That's it. That's pretty damn good. Brett, you better watch your ass.
Yeah, Brett.
But I can only do that. I can't do anything
Yeah,
else.
I agree. Yeah. Mine is, wow.
Wow.
And that's it. Yeah, his is much better than mine.
Well, we were
Jesus.
goofing around at one point, and somebody said, like, oh, you should audition for Mickey Mouse or something. Not understanding the environment yet. And I thought, well, that's not a voiceover job. That's like a brand manager,
a trademark.
Job. Yeah, can he do other jobs? Can he do
his name is on the money.
Yeah,
his voice is, or whatever, however that works. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, he's very careful, and rightly so.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he has I'm sure it's in the deal. Mm-hmm. I'm sure. Yeah. And when they auditioned for that, it's not just what are you capable of. It's let's hear who you are as a person. Tell us a little bit about your life. What kind of interests do you have?
Yeah.
What kind of,
I've learned so much about life through work, where it's just like people want to work with people who they like.
Yeah.
It's not even really like, oh, you're so good at this.
Yeah, that's the new backstabbing. The new backstabbing is be likable.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy to me how it even transcends into things that would to be really easy to like, quantify as a skill, like sports. It's like you'll see like phenomenal athletes and just nobody wants to be around them. So no teams hire them. It's like this guy is like an amazing basketball player and can't get on a team. Like Deion Sanders' son. We're just seeing all of that. It's like nobody really wanted to touch him. It's like, going into the media and say
that. I think I can be very likable.
Yeah.
But I also think there's a way in which I'm a little bit
don't say it.
Unlikable? No.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm not going to say unlikable, but there's a
Well, you are a colossal prick.
An asshole. Everyone knows it. No, but there's a thing about power or control, or being able to tell somebody else what to do. Mm-hmm. Like with my mother, the idea was ingrained in me is the director is the boss. Mm-hmm. You go in there. If the director's asking for something, you try and give the director what the director wants. But then I got to a certain age where I realized, well, the director has a boss too. And those bosses have another boss. And ultimately, the public is the boss. And so I developed a little bit of an attitude where, like, I both want to make sure that I'm giving the director what the director wants, but I also want to make sure it's what I want. Mm.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I want those two things to be aligned. And sometimes I could give somebody exactly what they want, and I'll walk away from it feeling like, and I think it has to do with the fact that people say, well, how much of you is in your character? And you keep saying it's your voice. Mm-hmm. That I think that's my superpower is that like I'm authentically me. Mm-hmm. And for better or worse, for right or wrong, whatever. And that probably has, there's probably boundaries on that you can't get past. Mm-hmm. But I also think that if you push back a little bit, and it has to do with schedule, and it has to do with money, and it has to do with other things that every time I want to talk about it, people are like, ooh, we shouldn't talk about that. Don't, I put it in my book, how much money we made on Lord of the Rings. I made they and they're like, or that not that we made, that I made. How little money actually. People will be shocked. But it's real, and at a certain point in your life, you realize like, well, I'm going to continue to work because I'm going to do what I have to do to get the job. So I'm going to demonstrate that I am professional, that I will show up on time, that I'll do what I'm supposed to do, and that I look like whatever. Like I've figured out how to get jobs. People offer me jobs too, So, but understanding that really in my early 40s, I got the level of comfort. Like, okay, I'm now not establishing myself to the industry. The industry now knows who I am.
Yeah.
There's no like sneaky little thing. So I can stop fighting so hard to try and do that, to reintroduce myself to every new person as though it's a new thing. And I can start I can relax a little bit and make sure that the work I do is because I see an opportunity or there's something that needs to happen or something like that. But all of that little dynamic aside, I'm like aware of the power dynamics. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, when I leave, you have the ability to cut me out. You have the ability to edit something. It takes a lot of trust and faith to do something and know that you've put it over to the filmmakers and they can do with it what they want. They can change things. They can make it appear differently. They can choose takes that you really didn't like. There's nothing you can do about that. That's actually just it's part of it. And developing a thickness of skin relative to that is like good. But sometimes it's not about the work. It's about personality. And I push back. So, and
good.
well,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
I have a mini philosophy. I don't do it on camera, but it's I always, because you have to honor the writers and the producers and director, and I'll give them one as written. And I'm notorious for better or worse ad-libber. Just that's all I do. And I've said it before. Darkwing Duck had this thing. I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the winged scourge that pecks at nightmare. I am Darkwing Duck. Well, the middle line always changed. And I'm telling you, it was. I wish I saved the script. I've said this before. I don't want to bore anybody, but it would like 7 shows in. We did over 100. I am the terror that flaps in the night. Doesn't matter what I say here. Jim's going to think up something else anyway. I am Darkwing Duck. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I wish I kept that script.
That is awesome.
But what I do is I always do one as written. And then I always do one as an ad lib. And do you find yourself doing that? Because on camera probably doesn't lend itself to that as quickly or as easily. Because you're going to be in character still, right?
Certain scripts, the language has been so labored over, like or it's so kind of like revealed language that first of all it's easier to memorize, and second of all that's what they want to hear, and you being kind of like there was one show that I did where I did it and it wasn't word perfect, and the writer producer said as scripted. And I was like, okay, let me do it as scripted. And I did it, and I thought I did it as scripted, but I transposed a word not for creative purposes, but because whatever, and it was a period piece. And so, maybe it felt a little bit like out of the period the way I said it. But that was a chore. That was a chore because I was trying to, I don't know, it just didn't, whereas the other actors who had been there a long time, I was a guest, they were just in it. They were doing it exactly as scripted. They hadn't learned it before they got to the set. They worked for 2 seconds with somebody off to the side with their sides, and then they stepped in and did it, and they were flawless. But then there's other things that you do, contemporary things where maybe the script isn't fully there. Maybe it's young people doing it. I'll come in, they'll say, hey, do you want X number of money to come in for 3 days to do this thing? And you read the script, and you're like, all right, like I see what they're going for. This isn't, the greatest thing in the world, but I have the time. It'd be nice to make the money and do it. So you land there on the ground, having read the script, having studied whatever, if there's things background or whatever, and then you realize, like in the moment, certain choices that they've made on the location, on where to put the camera, on who else is hired in it. All of a sudden, the idea that they have isn't being fully realized by the dialogue. So you riff a little bit, and they're like, thank you. Thank God. Like you understood it. You brought so much to this moment. Great. And you're like, so it's interesting as like I say, as like fighter pilots, you got to see what air battle am I in? Am I in an air battle where I've got to be, this is, Shakespeare. You're not going to go and ad lib Shakespeare. You're going to read Shakespeare,
That's true.
But, for the signature character of a show like that that's what the audience love every week.
Yeah,
to me, that's a love letter to you. Jim's going to do something else.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was a lot of fun, and it was true. So I'll take that. But, yeah.
Well, is there anything you want to advertise, plug to your audience or anything, where to find you on social media, things like that, of that nature?
After the last election, I decided that I was going to get off all of social media. Because I felt like it wasn't about communicating with people anymore. It was about algorithms and agendas and corporate, I just didn't like it.
You're right about that.
I got into it right after the Arab Spring. That's when I was like, oh, what's this Twitter thing, man? This is awesome. And afterwards I just thought, what, I'm done. And my kids said, well, Dad, you got to be on there for certain contract stuff, right? Don't you have to, you put in there, you do at least one, you've got all these followers. You want to at least, some of them are real, right? They're not all bots, And I was like, and they said, we'll do it. And I said, okay, you do it. You do it. So they've been.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There was Mother's Day, Allie comes to me and she's like, what do you think of this picture of you and Mom? And I was like 19 or 20 and she was 22, 23, something like that. She's like, I want to put this out there with pictures of each of us as kids, and do you want to caption it? So I give it a little caption. So, but no, I mean, people can, the reason I came here today is because I honor Jim. Oh. I honor you. You are you're a legend. You're a, you just, you've encapsulated something so pure and so good over decades. And for me, a person who is, in the antechamber, I'm through the outer wall. I'm in the antechamber of your particular discipline. And so I just appreciate you so much. And I just wanted to be here for you. So I promote that. I promote my affection for Jim.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's really sweet.
Yeah. I need a moment. Thank you. Bless you. Bless you. From my heart to yours. God bless you. Thank you.
And my kids, by the way, wife and kids know him too, and they like him. I don't know why.
Go figure.
What do they know about you that I don't know?
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to stop goosebumping in a minute.
Well, thanks a lot for doing this. This is a lot of fun.
For sure. Yeah. Amen. Amen.
It's a comfortable couch. You don't want to leave. You're like, this is a new studio, right?
Yeah,
it is, actually.
It looks good. It works.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. That was another episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you like this content so much you want to see more, you can join Patreon, where there's bonus episodes, there's additional content that nobody else gets to see here on YouTube. And if you leave a like and subscribe, it really helps us out with knowing what you guys like to see. It helps you out with the algorithm. It'll recommend more videos like this. And I think that just about covers it for today. Sean Astin, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we will see you in the next one.
Wait, don't get up.